Hello, welcome to News Central TV. I am Benga Aborowa, and these are the top stories at this hour. Plateau Governor Muchwang urges security agencies to halt recurring killings. PDP governors rule out merger, urge unity within party. At exactly 2 years since Sudan's civil war began, citizens continue to flee into neighbouring Chad. We'll bring you the details shortly. News now at this hour begins in Nigeria's north central, where tragedy is once again struck Plateau State, where not less than 50 people, including an entire family of 8, have been confirmed dead following a brutal midnight attack on Zike and Kimakpa villages in the Kwal district of Bassa local government area. The latest violence comes just under 2 days after similar coordinated attacks claimed multiple lives and destroyed countless homes across 5 communities in the Bokos local government area. The wave of violence has left residents devastated, and questions are once again being raised about the state of security and response efforts in the region. News Central's Chizoba Anyonwe visited the affected communities and brings us this report.
It is a feeling of heartbreak, anguish, and hopelessness that these locals woke up to after midnight attacks into communities of Zike and Kimakpa. More worrisome is the fact that nothing has been identified as the cause of these renewed attacks by alleged herdsmen.
About 12, after 12, we discover some militiamen known as herdsmen who invaded Zike, Kimakpa community in Kwal district of Irigwe Chiefdom, Bassa local government area. They started shooting, they burnt houses, they macheted people, and as I speak, we have recovered about 51 dead bodies on ground. Fulani herdsmen invaded this community, killed and macheted the Irigwe people. I am telling you, the situation is very disheartening.
I'm just coming from one of the villages, that's Zike, where a lot of corpses are there. In fact, one of the houses, 8 people were killed. The whole family were massacred. The father, the mother, and the children, 8 of them. They are still in their room now. If you go there, you will see. So it is quite unfortunate that this thing is still reoccurring in this state and in this local government. And well, I don't know what is their problem, but there is not anything that triggers this attack as far as I'm concerned.
The youth in these areas have become restive, alleging that security personnel are complicit in the attacks. Another source of concern is that this new attack is coming less than 10 days after the National Security Advisor, Nuhu Ribadu, Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Olufemi Oluyede, and the representative of the Inspector General of Police, Olukayode Ebetokun, visited Plateau State, assuring of security in the state. The way out of this situation is what everyone is looking forward to.
What we want to be done, we want justice in Irigwe Chiefdom, and we don't want to see any Fulani man in this community again. Yes. We want them to stop coming and stop attacking them. If not, I said if not, I'm talking as a woman, what the wrath of God will fall upon these Fulani people. We are tired. We are tired with what is happening in our land. We don't want this thing to be repeated again. Enough is enough in Irigwe land. We want peace and we want justice. And what is happening? The government are keeping quiet. We don't know why. Are we not human beings?
We have called on the state government, and in fact, even we have cried even with the federal government to create this police outpost across boundaries to tackle this kind of event. Otherwise, we will keep on counting losses of our people.
Behind me are some of the villagers who are still mourning the sudden demise of their loved ones. However, security operatives are on the ground to ensure that there's no further breakdown of law and order in this community. In Kwao district of Bassa local government area of Plateau State for New Central, Chizoba Anyewe.
And well, Plateau State Governor Caleb Muchwang has called on security agencies to collaborate more effectively to put an end to recurring killings in the state. The governor made the call during an expanded State Security Council meeting held on Monday to address the worsening insecurity in the region. The meeting, which took place at the council chamber of the government house in Jos, focused on the troubling resurgence of violence in Bassa and Bokos local government areas. Discussions centered on implementing decisive actions to restore peace and prevent further bloodshed across the state.
100 militia bandits descended on one of the communities in Kwao district of Bassa local government, leaving in their trail a number of dead bodies and destroyed houses. We've just deliberated and taken information, a debriefing from the heads of security on all that transpired, and we are trying to establish what actually happened, why it happened, so that we can be able to address the situation. At the moment, the situation there is calm, and we've tried to plead with the people, restrain them from any reaction that will further escalate the situation.
In the meantime, Nigeria's President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has condemned the latest wave of violence in Plateau State, urging leaders at all levels to work towards a lasting resolution to the region's recurring communal clashes. In a statement released on Monday by Special Advisor on Information and Strategy Bayo Onanuga, the President expressed profound sorrow over the bloodshed and extended his heartfelt condolences to Governor Caleb Muchwang, the state government and the people of Plateau. He urged the state governor to demonstrate strong political will in addressing the root causes of the conflict and to spearhead efforts aimed at securing long-term peace. The president also issued a wider appeal to community, religious and political leaders across the country, calling for unity and collective action to break the cycle of violence and reprisal attacks that continue to plague communities in Plateau State. And out to the northwest, the Kano State government says it has arrested over 500 suspected criminals allegedly engaged in a variety of crimes, including phone snatching, armed robbery, burglary, among others. This was as senior officials of the state government, representatives of its Peace and Security Committee and the State Police Commissioner met with traditional leaders in the state, warning them against being complicit in promoting insecurity. News Central's Emmanuel Bagudu tells us more.
The Kano State Security Committee, also known as the State Task Force for Peace and Youth Rehabilitation, during its recent inauguration by the State Governor Abba Kabir Yusuf. The mandate of the task force is to rid the state of violent crimes such as drug abuse, phone snatching, armed robbery, and others. As the committee conversed in the state capital with stakeholders to give an update on its operations since its inauguration, representatives of the committee say that over 500 suspected criminals have been arrested within the last 60 days. They called for more support from traditional rulers in the state. The state government, while raising an alarm over the activities of saboteurs within the state responsible for frustrating the efforts of security operatives and serving as informants to criminal elements, warned that the activities will no longer be tolerated.
Hukumomin tsaro musamman na 'yan sanda kullum kiransu kenan. Tsaro ba su ne da damarar su tsaro ba. Sai al'umma na gurare sun yunkura da kansu sun yadda za su goya musu baya sannan za a samu tsaro irin wanda ake bukata.
We are tracking. As from the yesterday night, we have arrested more than 500 people, suspected criminals. Some of them are murderers, some are drug dealers, and some of them are phone snatchers. And we are doing it wonderfully. And in this committee, I forget to mention even the judiciary who provide the mobile court. So we are doing everything within the confinement and the framework of the legal system. If we have drug cases, then we refer it after arrest to the NDLE. If we have a treasury or robbery, then we refer it to the either police. If we have something to investigate, then we lie with the police department of SIV and the DSS.
The State Police Commissioner Ibrahim Bakuri says that he is aware of the efforts of the committee and expressed optimism that its proposed partnership with traditional rulers will improve its operations.
Meongoza at the grassroots, at the one living with the community, the grassroots community, that the basis of community-based policing, and that the vision and mission of Inspector General of Police.
Citizens of Kano State will be hoping that this partnership with traditional rulers will help the committee achieve its mandate more effectively. In Kano for News Central, Emmanuel Bagudu.
April 14, 2014, a date that remains etched in the heart of Nigerians in the global community. It was the night Boko Haram insurgents stormed the government girls' secondary school in Chibok, Borno State, and abducted over 200 schoolgirls. Now, 11 years later, the scars of that horrific incident remains painfully fresh for many families. With little to no updates from the Nigerian government or security agencies, hope is fading for those still waiting for the return of their daughters. News Central's Umaru Kirawa visited Chibok to speak with the families and brings us this special report.
On April 14, 2014, Boko Haram militants stormed the government girls' secondary school in Chibok, kidnapping 276 girls in a heinous act that sent shockwaves around the world. Despite some girls being freed through military operations or negotiations in the years that followed, more girls still remain unaccounted for, and their families say they feel abandoned by the government.
Their effort is less and more lesser compared to the early stage of when the Chibok girls have been adopted. So I think they should put more effort and then raise awareness to the security aides to still keep on searching for the remaining Chibok girls so that they will come and meet their loved ones and then reunite as a family and the community at large.
The Nigerian government has faced heavy criticism for its handling of the crisis, with many questioning the lack of a coordinated strategy to locate and free the remaining girls.
As a result of that abduction now, a lot of people have made a decision not to go back to school. A lot of people have made up their mind not to do anything with education, especially the parent and then the student. And a lot of families have lost their life because they are grieved, as they are depressed because because they have been counting when their loved ones would now come out from that. And as a country and as a nation, I think it's a wake-up call to us 11 years after these girls were not yet found. But I think other people will say we have moved on. Yes, we have moved on, but the effect is still counting on us.
The Nigerian government has repeatedly assured the public that they are doing everything in their power to locate and rescue the remaining girls. But for many in Chibok, these assurances have become empty words.
Muna kuka domin waɗannan 'yan mata wanda ba su fita ba. Yanzu namu akwai nasu bai fita ba, ba mu ji daɗi ba babana. Yana sa mu hawaye mun ga iyaye din. Yana sa mu tunani.
For those whose daughters remain missing, the 11th anniversary serves as a painful reminder that the fight for justice and reunion continues, but with dwindling optimism.
Every day, a young girl is being kidnapped, is being denied, is being abducted, is being killed in this part of the country. And this is really a source of concern. If something is not done, this is going to have a long-term effect on the human capital development of the communities, on the girl child education, and even the economic of the nation, because there is saying that when you educate a woman, you educate a nation. And when that woman is afraid to go to school for her to grow and contribute, then we have a very backward nation.
11 years is a long time for an individual to go missing. And true optimism is dwindling for the families of the Chibok girls that have remained missing. They still hang on the threads of whatever hopes they have left to be reunited with their loved ones. In Maiduguri for News Central, Umaru Kirawa.
What do you think about the new legislation which gives digital assets official recognition? We'll discuss this and more when we return. Join us again. You're welcome back to News Now. In political news, governors elected on the platform of the People's Democratic Party have firmly shut down speculations of a possible party merger ahead of the 2027 general election. Speaking after the PDP Governors Forum meeting held in Ibadan on Monday, Forum Chairman and Governor of Bauchi State, Bala Mohammed, read a communique stating that the party has resolved not to join any coalition or merger arrangement. While dismissing merger talks, Governor Mohammed noted that PDP remains open to individual parties or groups willing to align with its vision to reclaim power and install what they described as good leadership in 2027. The governors also raised alarm over the worsening security situation in the country, especially in Borno, Katsina, and Edo State. They called on the federal government to act swiftly to restore peace and protect citizens. Meanwhile, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar says only a united opposition can unseat President Bola Ahmed Tinubu in the 2027 general elections. His comments come in response to a move by 11 governors of the People's Democratic Party who on Monday distanced themselves from any proposed coalition or merger discussions. After a closed-door meeting in Ibadan, the PDP Governors Forum led by Bauchi Governor Bala Mohammed announced that the party would not be part of any coalition effort, highlighting a divide in opposition strategy. In a swift response, Atiku acknowledged the governors as respected leaders within the party, but insisted that the coalition movement had already gained traction among Nigerians and has grown beyond partisan lines. He emphasized that the initiative is a pan-Nigerian in nature and no longer confined to a single political platform. A special mount on the national chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Dr. Abdullahi Ganduje, to step down ahead of the 2027 general elections. One group is rallying to his defense. The Arewa Youths for Peaceful Coexistence have declared their full support for Ganduje, passing a vote of confidence in his leadership amidst growing criticism over his performance and party unity efforts. The group praised the APC chairman for what they described as his excellent performance in managing party affairs and steering the APC to success in recent off-cycle elections in Edo and Ondo State. They urged party members and stakeholders to dismiss what they termed unfounded criticism expressing full confidence in Gandaje's ability to lead the party into the 2027 election cycle.
We hereby pass a vote of confidence on the chairman of the All Progressive Congress, Alhaji Umar Ganduje, as a reliable and a capable leader of the All Progressive Congress. We commend his openness, calm resolve, and relentless drive to keep the APC united and forward moving. It is for these reasons that we are sitting here today to express our total and unwavering support for him. Under his direction and leadership, the APC has recorded major electoral victories in 4 out of the 5 up-cycle gubernatorial elections in Kogi, Imo, Edo, and Ondo states.
Women in Port Harcourt, Rivers State's capital, took to the streets on Monday in a show of support for the declaration of a state of emergency by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. They are calling for the prosecution of persons behind the arson at the State Assembly complex and a thorough investigation into the Oko Jumbo-led faction of the Assembly. News Central's Biola Festus has more.
It's another Monday morning, and the streets of Port Harcourt are once again filled with demonstrators.
With the loud sound of music behind me, and of course, those women who are beautifully dressed, gyrating, one would think a party is going on here. But these are women from the 23 local government areas of Rivers State who have come out in procession to appreciate the federal government for the declaration of emergency rule in Rivers State.
Women from all 23 local government areas of Rivers State, under the banner of Rivers Women for Peace and Good Governance, turned out in large numbers to show solidarity and appreciation for President Bola Tinubu's decision to declare a state of emergency in Rivers State.
We want to thank the President for averting the impending danger that was looming on Rivers people. We want to thank the President for bringing us a bus. We want to thank the President for saving our state from chaos.
If there is problem in Rivers State, as they said, you can't be here. Your station cannot be here. People will not invest in Rivers State. I'm just telling them, let the visitors come. The investors should come.
We have peace. We have peace.
Holding placards with messages like, Rivers State deserves peace, not Fubara. State of emergency is constitutional, and thank you, President Tinubu, for saving Rivers State. The women demanded a full investigation into the attack on the State's Assembly complex.
For over 2 years, the legislature was clamped down. Our House of Assembly was burnt down. We remember our legislators when they now moved to their residence. What happened? That place was also almost demolished. All because of a normal constitutional process called impeachment. Isn't the Constitution? Is it not there? It's there. Are we waiting till when we burn down ourselves? No. Before the President will declare?
No. Dressed in matching white outfits, the women marched from Garrison Roundabout to Isaac Borough Park, closely monitored by police escorts. The women say the peace they have long hoped for has finally arrived, thanks to the emergency rule.
There is no more threat from the militants, no burning of public assets, no tribal war anymore. We can live, we can sleep, and we are enjoying it. The sole administrator is doing a very good job. We love it to the end.
As the procession ended at Isaac Adaka Borough Park in the city center, the women broke into singing, dancing, and gyration before peacefully dispersing. In Rivers, for News Central, I'm Biola Festus.
A Earlier, we brought a story to you on the PDP Governors Forum meeting that held in Ibadan, and they released a communique. Now, joining us to discuss the fallout of this meeting and some of the issues that the governors raised was joined by public affairs analyst Olufemi Lawson. One welcome to you, Olufemi Lawson. Thanks for joining us on News Now.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Now, the PDP governors have said they're not interested in any merger and that, you know, the PDP has enough numbers. What do you make of their stance? What impact would it have on their success in the 2027 general election?
Even though 2027 still looks a bit far, but like you know, a day in politics is like a lifetime. So, for those who are interested in merger, they are very much on course. And for the PDP, which is of the view that it has what it takes to take power back from the ruling of Progressive Congress, I think it's a good way. It's a good way to be optimistic also. But if it is what PDP represents as of today, I don't think it is formidable enough as an opposition to rescue power from the incumbent, APC. Come 2027, because this is a party whose core leaders are, fraternizing with the ruling APC. A lot of prominent leaders of the party are virtually in APC. People like Mr. Yeson Wike and some of their 7 governors who are in bed with the current administration. Also, for such party, they may not be interested in winning a general election. Maybe that is the point of their expression that they are not interested in any coalition or any alliance come 2027. But I don't personally see PDP as being formidable enough, as fairly constituted, to defeat the incumbent ruling party, the APC, if it does not go into any serious political alliance with other political parties and interests who are currently converging towards 2027.
Now, others have, some political analysts have raised the point that, it's not the National Working Committee or the NEC that is making this decision, and that if you follow the PDP's constitution, the Governors Forum doesn't even have the powers to declare whether they'll go into a merger or not. So do you think their assertion that they won't be going into the merger is final, or things could still change in the nearest future?
Their words cannot be final, just like you rightly said. The PDP Governor Forum does not exist in any law. It's just a prayer group of friends who are governors in PDP, though all members of the NEC of the party. But the NEC is bigger than the 11 governors of PDP. It consists of other stakeholders, former government members of the National Assembly, and former leaders of the party, as the case may be. So we may not have seen the end of the possibility or not of PDP going into an alliance with other political parties ahead of 2027, especially when you look at the fact that some of the people that are already in these coalition talks are prominent members of the PDP. You've seen people like former Dr. Suswan, former Vice President Atiku Abubakar. Now, a lot of other big groups within the party, some members of the National Assembly are also being seen in this alliance. So just like you rightly said, the PDP government may not have, even though they are like the backbone of the party, they may not have the final say eventually when the party will decide whether it is going to go into an alliance with any other political parties ahead of 2027 or not.
Now let's talk about the personality of the former Vice President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. He's been in the forefront of this coalition talks. What do you make of this coalition, looking at the personalities involved? There's El Rufai in SDP, there's also Mr. Peter Obi. Do you think they have the temperament to put away their personal differences and come up with a united front? Because all of them will feel, they have what it takes to be the flag bearer of any coalition agreement.
You see, one deficiency with this so-called ongoing coalition talks and alliance is the fact that, this is more or less like an attempt to create, a special purpose vehicle for some individuals to actualize their age-level political ambition. It is not yet about, the essence of politics and democracy in Nigeria. As we speak, none of these characters who are talking about coalition or not are speaking about the fortune of the country, are speaking about the prospect of the country. They are not speaking about the interest of the Nigerian people. When we're talking of a coalition to unseat the incumbent administration, I think so should have been premised on what Nigerians deserve.
I mean, in fairness to them, Mr. In fairness to these personalities, they do go on social media to react to national issues from time to time, release press statements, and comment on national issues. You don't think that's enough?
No, a lot of Nigerians, even more in number than these politicians, are also doing that almost on a daily basis. The media is also doing that on this compound. A lot of activists are doing that. But I'm saying that this coalition seems to be currently driven by people who have ambitions, not necessarily by patriots who are interested in the tomorrow of Nigeria. Until they put ambitions behind, put to fore the need to rescue Nigeria or to make Nigeria better as the core agenda for this coalition. You realize that more Nigerians, more stakeholders, more interested persons, people who are not members of these political parties, will join such coalition. But if it's about the ambition of this man, I don't think it is going to be as formidable as needed to unseat the incumbent administration, especially now that you have about 11 very prominent figures within the party, that is their governors, saying they are not going to be part of any coalition.
Thank you so much for your time and insights, Mr. Olufemi Lawson, a public affairs analyst. Thank you. Now, there's been a flurry of reactions following Nigerian President Bola Ahmed Tinubu's recent signing of a landmark bill recognizing digital assets as part of a country's legal and financial framework. The new law classifies digital assets and cryptocurrencies as securities, placing them under the regulatory oversight of the Nigerian Securities and Exchange Commission. By giving presidential assent to the Investments and Securities Bill, the president has paved the way for a more robust regulatory framework within Nigeria's capital market, potentially transforming the future of digital finance in the country. Join us now to unpack the implications of this development is financial expert Ayotunde Alabi, CEO of Luno Nigeria. Thank you very much for joining us on the program, Mr. Alabi.
Thank you very much for having me.
Now, with the recent signing of the Digital Assets Bill by Mr. President, how do you see this shaping Nigeria's crypto landscape and fostering innovation across the country?
Yeah, thank you. Honestly, this is a big step in the right direction. For years, the space has operated in a sort of gray zone without a lot of regulatory clarity and plagued with uncertainty about the future of the crypto of the space within the capital market. But this new bill gives the much needed clarity. It sets the foundation for a more structured, transparent, and also investor-safe environment, which is exactly what's needed to attract both innovation and international interest. We've got one of the highest crypto adoption rates globally, and so this bill gives us a chance to build something long-lasting and impactful.
Now, Ayotunde, what are the main challenges and opportunities in striking the right balance between regulatory oversight and innovation, especially in attracting global crypto investment while protecting local users? You don't want a situation where you overregulate the space.
Yeah, the balance is tough. The balance is tough, but it is not impossible. The challenge is creating rules that protect people without stifling innovation. And what's the opportunity? If we get that right as a country, from a regulatory perspective and also from an industry perspective, then Nigeria can become a true hub for crypto and blockchain innovation on the continent. So in my mind, regulation isn't the enemy of innovation. In fact, smart regulation attracts serious investors, and we are seeing that globally. So Nigeria shouldn't be left behind in that regard.
Now, today is interesting and important that we're having this conversation against the backdrop of recent revelations. In the last 2-3 days, a number of Nigerians are crying. So many people have lost their life savings to Ponzi scheme. They thought it was an investment or what's it called? Forex platform, and a number of them lost their monies. We've been seeing videos all over social media. Now, given the history of Ponzi schemes undermining trust in Nigeria's digital finance space, how can regulators and industry players work together to prevent such scams and rebuild public confidence? Because, you know, they will just, people automatically assume that, or anything digital assets, they're all the same, I'm not going to touch it and all of that.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've seen too many cases, name it, MMM, you know, and some other, you know, not so popular ones, and the damage really on the industry is quite real. I think it's going to take a joint effort. Regulators need to enforce, and platforms also, like Luno, for example, need to educate, which is what we'll be on the forefront of, you know, trying to educate people about, you know, what digital assets is, and what's more importantly, what digital assets are not. So we've always pushed for clarity in how crypto works, what the risks are, and how to avoid bad actors. But people need to know that just because something uses crypto in the name, it doesn't make it legit. And education and enforcement will go hand in hand, and that is why we're so happy about this bill, because it lays to rest, you know, or it sets the foundation in terms of the regulation of, you know, the industry. And we're hoping to see, you know, more and more fallout and sort of more clarity as a result of this bill that has now been signed by Mr. President.
Thank you so much for your insights, Ayotunde Alabi, CEO of Luna Nigeria. We do appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for having me.
It's a major step towards boosting food security across the continent. Agriculture experts and policymakers have converged in Abuja for the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage. The conference, with the theme tackling the irrigation development and management crisis in Africa, aims to prefer innovative solutions to secure adequate water for both dry and wet season farming. News Central's correspondent Sumaya Abubakar filed in this report.
From policy experts to agricultural entrepreneurs, the 6th African Regional Conference on Irrigation and Drainage brought together key players in the agricultural sector with the key mission of solving Africa's water and irrigation challenges.
Water remains central to Africa's quest for food security, climate resilience, and economic transformation. Yet we continue to face pressing challenges: climate change, land degradation, inadequate investment in irrigation infrastructure, and limited knowledge-sharing platforms.
Today is not about one state. It is about a shared African journey. A journey in which every nation, from Senegal to Somalia, must come together to develop a bold and unified strategy for irrigation and water governance.
We have to think all together how to cope with growing population, growing food demand, and growing food security with the issue of water security.
The conference also featured exhibitions of cutting-edge solutions geared towards transforming how African farmers maximize the use of water.
We've developed what we call the Water Co-Pilot, which is an AI chatbot. And what that means is, with the digital twin, you've got the opportunity then for management agencies, for local government, for potentially farmers to ask real natural language questions that then accesses all that complexity of data to generate advice and answers to those questions.
To achieve food sufficiency and improve the living condition of all citizens and residents of our dear country, Nigeria, Federal Ministry of Water Resources and Sanitation, in collaboration with relevant stakeholders, is currently focused on strengthening access to potable water, enhancing food security,
IMI has been assigned to give the lead paper to bring out the new innovations that have been scientifically proven that can be applied to respond to the water management crisis in Africa.
With water scarcity threatening food security across many parts of Africa, experts present say that the conversation is both timely and crucial, placing innovation at the heart of agricultural transformation. In Abuja, for News Central, Sumaya Abubakar.
You're watching News Now on News Central Television. 2 years on, thousands still fleeing to neighbouring Sudan. We'll tell you more on this after the break. Join us again. Exactly 2 years since Sudan descended into a brutal civil war, refugees continue to pour into neighbouring Chad, fleeing murder, rape and starvation. Carrying what little they can on their backs or in carts pulled by emaciated horses, they're crossing the dry riverbed at the border in ever-growing numbers. Thousands more are expected to follow in the coming weeks. Following weekend attacks that left hundreds dead in Zamzam, an area sheltering up to 1 million displaced people, the war has plunged Sudan into the world's largest humanitarian crisis. Around 13 million people have been uprooted from their homes and more than 750,000 have fled to Chad over the past 2 years. According to the United Nations, at least 300 civilians have been killed in recent attacks by paramilitary rapid support forces on refugee camps in Darfur. Former Mozambican presidential candidate Venancio Mondlane has threatened to call for protest 100 times worse if the political persecution of his supporters continues. His warning comes just a day after one of his closer allies was shot in central Mozambique. Mondlane was reacting to the shooting of Joel Amaral, a musician, staunch supporter, and the voice behind campaign songs that mobilized crowds during the 2023 municipal and 2024 elections. Now, joining us to discuss this is political scientist Benga Meres. He is the project manager, Institute of Multi-Party Democracy. He joins us from the Mozambican capital, Maputo. Thanks for joining us, Meres.
Thank you. First of all, I would like to correct something. I'm not representing Institute for Multi-Party Democracy. I come personally as a political scientist. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much for stating the facts. Now, what specific grievances is Venancio Mondlane raising with his call for mass protest? And to what extent do these concerns reflect the broader sentiment of Mozambican citizens?
Yeah, Ben, allow me to bring you the context of how this all has started in Mozambique. So on 19th last year, we had the 7th general elections that were held in Mozambique. And on 19th, after 10 days of the process of voting, we have the killing, the murder of the political advisor and lawyer of the former presidential election, Venancio Mondlane. So soon after this on 20th October, we had the preliminary election results that were announced by the CNE, giving victory to the presidential candidate Daniel Chap of the party of Frelimo. From then on, we have witnessed a series of post-election demonstrations that took place, mostly called by Venancio Mondlane. On one hand, he was calling for the murder of the Elvino Diaz, was his political advisor and lawyer, and also against the election results, asking for the bodies of administering electoral justice to restore the electoral justice or electoral truth. Since that time so far, we have witnessed around 308 murder of people that have been killing during these protests of these demonstrations that were held since last year in Mozambique. and still no legal proceedings that have been opened against these possible perpetrators of these crimes. And however, we have witnessed it very recently that Venancio Mondlane has been notified by the Attorney General office to give a statement, and at the moment he has been accused of having perpetrated this demonstration, and a lot of our economic sector has been retroceded.
I'm so sorry, because we're out of time. We'll definitely have you in our subsequent bulletins. Apologies for the short time we have. We'll definitely reach out to you and have you on our subsequent bulletins. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
And that's all on the news at this hour. But before we go, let's take another look at some of the major stories. Plateau Governor Mutrang urges security agencies to halt recurring killings. PDP governors rule out merger, urge unity within party. We also told you that exactly 2 years since Sudan civil war began, citizens continue to flee into neighbouring Chad. Remember, you may send your eyewitness report to the WhatsApp number on the screen. Do follow us on social media with News Central TV. You can watch News Central live on DSTV channel 422, Go TV channel 43, Star Times channel 274, Avo TV and YouTube. Many thanks for watching. I am Benga Aburoa.